A Georgia insider just gave us a major update on a top recruit that we have been going after, and we got to break it all down. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Georgia Football 365. If you are a Georgia Bulldogs fan, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out a ton. But let's jump right into what we got for today, because we do have a big news thing update dropping today. We've been talking about Miller Westerfield over the past couple days as the number one offensive line target currently for the Georgia Bulldogs. We missed out on Nate Carson, the four-star offensive tackle who ended up committing to South Carolina instead of Georgia. And after we got the news that he committed to South Carolina, we said Georgia's target is now going to shift to Miller Westerfield. And today, this afternoon, we got an update on Miller Westerfield in the form of a 24/7 crystal ball prediction from Georgia football insider Benjamin Wolk, a staff writer for Dogs 24/7, which is the 24/7 Sports Georgia affiliated website. He puts down a prediction for the Georgia Bulldogs to land Miller Westerfield. This prediction put down today at 1:14 in the afternoon. So we just got this update. Miller Westerfield officially predicted to land with the Georgia Bulldogs. And it doesn't take a genius to figure out why the Bulldogs are being predicted to land this. First of all, he's from Roswell, Georgia, and he's right now Georgia's number one offensive tackle target who is uncommitted. When Georgia has a number one offensive lineman target, we're going to go get him. Georgia is known for having some of the biggest and best offensive lines in not just the SEC, but all of college football. Where else would you rather be developed than by the Georgia coaching staff? This is where top offensive linemen get recruited, produced, and spit out into the first round of the NFL draft. Miller Westerfield is a 6'6", 290-pound offensive tackle, rated a 3-star by 24/7 Sports, but the 24/7 Sports composite grade, aka the consensus from the other recruiting outlets, have Miller Westerfield listed as a 4-star recruit and a top 400 player in the class. Now, Miller Westerfield, should he end up committing, he would be joining a Georgia Bulldogs offensive line class that is already very strong. The O-line class is very strong. However, the overall recruiting class for 2027 for the Georgia Bulldogs, not super impressive as we currently stand today. Right now, we are listed the 8th best recruiting class in 2027 in only the SEC. So you can see us in between LSU, which there's no shame in being behind LSU, only one spot ahead of Kentucky. You don't like that. 3 spots below Auburn, which Auburn, new head coach Alex Golesh in there, him coming up from USF. The athletic department there, they want to make a special point to spit out a lot of NIL money, a lot of funding this specific recruitment period. So it makes sense why Auburn is going to have a good recruiting period. But overall, Georgia's got to be higher overall in the recruiting class than number 8, but we understand it is summer of 2026. We still have a long way to go before the final rankings for these classes are set in stone. So Georgia is going to have plenty more opportunities to pick up more uncommitted players, flip previously committed players, and at the same time, we're going to have to make sure we continue to recruit inside our own locker room and continue to make sure currently committed high schoolers to the Georgia program stay committed. We know LSU is going after Kelsey Adams. We know there are other players in the Georgia program currently being targeted by other schools. Kirby's got to make sure he does everything that he can do to make sure that those guys are not able to be flipped. But we do have more updates here. The first other name we're going to talk about here is Camden No, ranked as an athlete by 24/7 Sports, but currently playing running back, 6'4", 215 pounds. That would be huge if he would be a huge running back should he continue to play running back at the college football level, which is not confirmed at this current stage in time. He is in the class of 2028, so he is going to have a little bit more time to figure out what he wants to do. But Georgia has came up as one of the schools to watch in this commitment, with Camden here, 6'4", 215 pounds, rated a 4-star recruit by 24/7 Sports. They have him ranked the 137th best recruit in the 2028 class, the number 7 athlete in the class of 2028, and the 6th best player in the state of Michigan. The 24/7 Sports composite grade, aka our consensus grade, about the same thing as the 24/7 Sports grade. His national ranking 116, so that's a little bit higher. But Camden, no, if he wants to remain playing running back, Georgia, again, offensive line, running back, and like linebacker / D lineman is the specialty recruiting wise, development wise for the Georgia Bulldogs. So if you want to be, if you want to continue playing running back, Georgia, a great spot to do that. You will get, of course, recruited at a high level, but more importantly, developed at a high level, and you will be competing for not only SEC championships on a yearly basis, but national championships on a yearly basis. Georgia has a phenomenal pipeline of running backs from Athens, Georgia, over to the NFL. A lot of guys going very highly in the NFL draft at that. So Camden, no. Someone that needs to be on our radar, someone that Georgia is interested in. And speaking of more players that Georgia is interested in, next name we got to bring up here is Tashawn Poole. He's a 4-star safety prospect coming from Macon, Georgia. As always, to remain an elite college football program, you have to dominate recruiting in your own state. Poole is 6'2", 185 pounds, rated a 4-star by 24/7 Sports. 24/7 Sports has him ranked the 85th best player in the 2027 class, the 4th best safety in the 2027 class, and the 6th best player in the state of Georgia. The consensus grades, about the same across the board. The problem, or first of all, let's bring up the news with Tashawn Poole, is he has just set his final 3 schools where he will be deciding where he will be committing to play his college football. And as you may have guessed, hinted by his inclusion in this video, Poole has named the Georgia Bulldogs as one of his 3 final schools. He is announcing his commitment on July 17th, so that is 8 days from today. So next Friday, we will figure out where Poole is going to be playing his college football. He'll be announcing his commitment 6 p.m. July 17th. His final 3, Florida State, Georgia, and Tennessee. What I started saying earlier, the bad news here is the 24/7 Sports crystal ball prediction hasn't predicted to land with the Florida State Seminoles. We can see at the bottom right of the image here, 2 predictions have him going to Florida State, which is a bad sign for the Bulldogs, but crazier things have happened. There are 8 more days for Georgia to try to see if we can stick our noses in here and make something happen with this commitment. That's what I got for this video. If you stuck around this long, I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video all the way through. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Go Dogs!